Well, family, we at it again. I've been running this series, Death to the Real Nigga, and now we're going to New Orleans with it. And we're going to cover a 13-year-old child. I can call him a real nigga, but I'm not going to call him a real nigga. I'm not going to call him a savage because I feel like his world was shattered before he even got a chance to understand what the world is. Lynell Reynolds. This boy suffered some major blows to his life and at 13 years old, he committed an egregious act against society and another person in his community. So we're going to roll the clip and we're going to check out 13-year-old Lynell Reynolds and what he did to 21-year-old Daryl Scott. And then I'll come back and I'll give you my commentary on it. So let's roll the clip.
In one of the most emotional cases to hit New Orleans juvenile court in a long time, a 13-year-old was sentenced today for shooting and paralyzing a 21-year-old man. But those facts don't begin to capture the tragedy surrounding this case, as investigator Mike Perlstein explains.
My grandson is in trouble. I don't know what he's going to be able to do for himself.
Charlie Harris was talking about his grandson, Daryl, left paralyzed after being shot during an armed robbery in March.
Every day is difficult. Waking up, going to sleep, just everything.
On the other side of the courtroom was the shooter, 13-year-old Lynell Reynolds. Reynolds had two siblings murdered when he was about 6. Then his mother was killed about 3 years ago. Even while hoping for leniency, his family pleaded for help.
Make sure he's evaluated every day and get help and talk about the things that he needs to talk about. That's what he needs.
Judge Candace Bates Anderson sentenced Reynolds to juvenile life, meaning he will be locked up until he's 21. But she modified the sentence, allowing his release at age 17 if he gets a diploma and job skills. The judge was quick to point out that Reynolds' modified juvenile life sentence will run concurrently with 15 other cases he had before her, including riding in a stolen car, burglary, battery, and gun charges.
He has a chance. Right now, Daryl does not.
But one person, the most important person, was at peace.
I'm glad that justice was served. I hope he gets the help he needs, and I'm finally past everything that happened.
Mike Perlstein, Eyewitness News.
Several of Reynolds' teachers came to court in support of the 13-year-old, but DA Leon Canizero called their statements propaganda, saying, quote, they exalted this defendant because he likes to read while ignoring the fact that he also likes to shoot people, end quote.
Well, as you can see, Lynell is a very troubled child. This boy, before 13, saw the murder of 2 of his siblings. And just 3 years later, the murder of his mother. And when he was going in and out of court, the judge, Candace Anderson, was saying, how come she never knew about this? And I'm flabbergasted because I'm trying to understand, how can a child be in and out of your courtroom and there's not a thorough investigation on this child and where he comes from and the trauma that he needs? So now the grandmama's talking and saying that little Lynell needs therapy, time and time in therapy. You see Darrell's family, the grandfather break down crying. They're talking about that he can't care for the things, and this really hits close to home because in my old church, there was a kid some about 15 years ago was shot, and he was shot by a 15-year-old. He was the kid from my church was on his way home from school, and he was approached by a 15-year-old gun with a gun. He shot the boy from my church and paralyzed him. And when I look at this story, it's eerie similar. This boy saw a 21-year-old was in the car with his homies. He rode up on him, he jumped out, asked him for $1, and then he shot him. But like I was telling my wife, when you look at the background of little Lynell Reynolds, mama dead, mama's murdered. 2 siblings murdered. He's void of all emotions. He probably don't feel anything. There is no remorse or no regret or sorry. Number one, the brain is too young to even understand a lot of times the consequences of actions. Number two, when he had these traumatic things happen to him, why would he feel any emotion for anybody else when he may feel as though nobody felt none for him? Who failed him? Was it the society, the court systems, the parents? Who failed little Lynell? See, because I do these videos, Death to the Real Nigga, because I want you to see. Like I always tell you, when these movies, these rappers, the society glorify this bang bang gangsterism, they don't never show you this part. Tell NBA Youngboy to do a Death to the Real Nigga series. Tell Little Durk to do a Death to the Real Nigga series. Tell the producers of Power and the producers of BMF to do a Death. Show our kids the flip side of this gangster life. Because when you live in that street life and you have a man and a woman come together and produce life that they are already dealing with undiagnosed issues, unresolved issues, they produce these type of children. So now this type of child is born in chaos, and the dysfunctional parents came together, created a dysfunctional child whose dysfunction now has affected Daryl Scott's and his family. Daryl Scott in the wheelchair, paralyzed, confined to a wheelchair for the rest of his life, said that he hopes that he gets out at 17 years old if he follows the guidelines, gets his diploma, and do what he has to do. That ain't nobody but God. This man was shot, put in a wheelchair, legs taken away. Probably can't even have sex. Everything taken away from him. But he still had compassion for little Lynell Reynolds. Probably more than damn near his family ever had. His own family. But how come nobody shows the flip side of this real nigga shit? Because this is the flip side of the game. You out here running and slinging and banking, dropping seeds everywhere, not taking care of your kids. You women out here chasing real niggas, having babies by these real niggas, and all this dysfunctional crap. You produce dysfunctional babies who ends up harming somebody else's child. I'm raising my son so my son don't shoot yours, so I suggest you do the same. Death to the real nigga. Like, subscribe, and share to the George Macon Experience. Remember, I love y'all. To the next time. Peace.